This is a review of stackable storage cases. And the reason I decided to start investigating some of these stackable storage cases is because the amount of various different parts that I have them in small storage bins that look similar to this. And the problem is that area is open, and as you can see, this item, not a lot of items actually in there, but they take up an entire space of the container. So I was looking for a way so that I could have small items and marginally large items like these in one single location. And then the idea is use the CNC machine, build a huge stack of these. Now the idea came from Adam Savage, I believe, or one of those guys on Mythbusters, and he had used this particular unit right here, which is called Sortimo. Now we'll talk about that case and some of the others here. Now the case started here with the Sortimo T-Boxx. T is for transparent, and this Sortimo box is it's the cat's meow. It's clearly the best one of the group. It's also extremely expensive. This Sortimo box in the US, because it is a German produced item, cost about $80. If you import them out of Europe, they're about $50 a case with current exchange rates. So let's go ahead and go through each one of these various different cases. Here, let's go ahead and start with stack-on. Now I have two stack-on cases here. Now these stack-on cases, and it kind of sounds a little bit like snap-on, but it's not snap-on. So we have two units here. We have a stack-on 10 deep cut part storage organizer and a 17 less deeper, but it's actually kind of deeper because it's, you know, got this thing here. Anyway, here we've got 988, and here we have 1188. So let's just start off looking at them both. Now, you'll see that the sizes widthwise are very similar between all these units. They're not exactly the same, but they're close. This first stack-on unit is about 16.5 wide, and with hinges about 13.5, and its total depth is about 4.5. Now, it has a handle on the inside. Now, this could be an advantage, it could be a disadvantage. Now, the Sortimo is the only unit that doesn't have a handle that actually takes up the space. You can see that the Sortimo unit actually allows the boxes to go straight across the bottom, as where these handles, they take up an entire amount of space that you could otherwise be storing items in. Of course, when you factor in price, it probably just doesn't matter. Now, the Sortimo unit is designed very much for conservation of space because these are used for mobile applications like plumbers and electricians in Europe. Now, so for the stack on here, these tops here, this top, I'm not sure exactly, it's not marked, but it's a softer plastic. You can see here that it easily bends. Now, that's not a great thing in some respects. One might say, well, it's less likely to shatter, but the downside is even when you put these down, and you put them both down, you can see, let's see here, put that down, you can see, hopefully here, you can see that they lift up. Now, that prevents these areas from being completely isolated. So it is possible on these units, especially with these kind of wimpy, less than perfect tops, not to completely isolate all the items. Now, in the stack-on box, it has something similar to Sortimo, and we'll show you here the Stanley. They have little removable cups. Now, a common feature in all of these, they have little feet on the bottom. These little feet on the bottom happen to correspond with little receiving plugs at the bottom. Now, most of them are quite chintzy. You know, there's a lot of play in them. You know, it's not. You can see here, it's not perfect, right? I mean, it's just to kind of keep them slightly indexed. If you compare that against a more referenced item, here we have the Sortimo, and you have very accurate little tiny dimples and holes, and you can see that they're very accurate. You can see that there's no movement here. See there? So they're just much more accurate in a Sortimo box as opposed to this stack-on box, which is, you know, chintzy. but it's also, what, a fourth of a price. Not even that much. Now, on the stack-on box, this box is unique from the other one I'll show you in a moment, is it does have these little handles. These handles allow you to grab the box and pull it out. Now, if you got a whole box here full of different bolts, that probably definitely matters, because it could be hard to grab them on the side and pull them out. So even on units, all the other remaining units, they're all slip on the side. They're smooth. They're not actually got grabbable handles in any way. All right. Now, this has several different kinds of units, cups, if you will. You can see here that they do technically stack. See, like that. I guess it could be useful in certain cases. Maybe you have them out, you've taken it out to take it somewhere and you want to stack them up on top of each other, or maybe trying to carry them. Of course, the whole point of the thing is to carry it. Now on the handle here, you can see that the handles here, it's all hard plastic. There's not like a soft plus hard plastic. The green is just totally a aesthetic thing. It's not a different type of plastic. The plastic inside of here, relatively hard, and also the molding on these cases is actually quite straight. It's not curved or bent in too much. Again, probably the drawback with this unit is the fact that these little tabs up here, which interface with these corners, probably not deep enough, or that the plastic is not strong enough. Now, on the back here, we have molded hinges. You can see those. They're just pressed in place, and when you lift it up, you can see that it goes a little past 90 degrees here, allowing you to leave it open without it falling in. Pushing it back, I think you could actually get them to pop out. Maybe it would break it. It's a fairly soft plastic, so maybe it doesn't break. The clips seem relatively good, but not super strong. I mean, I don't get super confident in that they're going to hold open if I've got a whole bunch of 3/4 inch bolts in there. Now on the bottom, they do have the little notches, as you can see. Now here's one interesting thing. It's a bit of a problem. They've got these indexing marks. And these indexing marks, now I don't have a second case, so I don't quite know, but I assume that these little tiny indexing marks that stick up, while those may be great indexing marks, they can actually mar, because there's so little surface area, they can mar the surface. So for example, here I have it on cardboard, and it's actually denting the cardboard because there's so little surface area in those little spots. So, pros here, it's translucent. You can mostly see everything. It's unfortunate they have all these little divots, so it kind of prevents you from seeing everything in there. There is no label to pull off of here. This little stack-on thing is all that's on there. It's relatively well built. It's inexpensive. It's fairly deep, as you can see. And all in all, not a bad case. Not the best, but not bad. Now, next we have another stack-on case. Now, these do not seem to be in any way connected. Like, see, for example, here, they're not, they're not, you can see here, they're not stackable. So this one doesn't necessarily match with this one, though they do appear to stack upon one another if they're the same ones. So in this stack-on unit here, again, we have the same basic design. Here, at least, it's clear. You can see very easily what's inside. You don't have that obscuring that occurred within all those triangles. It's a totally different design, though, otherwise. You can see that there are rigid sections here. And you can see that. This, and this are all rigid. They can't be removed. Well, I guess you could cut them out, but not likely. They have these little dividers. So this is more in the line of something you would use for probably tools. So there are no little removable buckets to take out individually and take somewhere. They do have little slots on the side, and they have little grooves. So these grooves allow you to put this in there, and they won't flop out like that. So even if you push the sides, you can see that they're standing there very well. So adjustable, but not perfect. Again, you're losing the space here because of the handle, but you have good visibility. The clip and the hinges are exactly the same design. It does not have the little divots on the back. All in all, not too bad. All right, next we have two Stanley units, and these two Stanley units are totally different. One is a very skinny, and let's give you some dimensions here. We're looking at 16 5/8 by an overall size of 13, roughly about 13 1/2, and a total depth of about 2 1/8. All right, this unit here has 2 clips on the front, 3 on the back, and that's very similar to the stack-on unit. And what it has as an advantage is lots of little storage. And if you need something that holds lots of little unique things, this is totally up your alley. Now, we'll see that the stack-on unit has something that's comparable, but again, fairly dense. The very small boxes, but not very deep here either. You'll also see that it has the feature where if you have the little divots here, they keep them from rolling around. So for example, if I take out 2 of these units here, you can see that the rest of them won't fall down. Now, again, it has the same issue here where you've got a little bit of gap. So if you've got small flat things like washers, you might expect that if you're carrying this and it were to bump, you're probably going to have some mixing of the items inside of there. All in all, not a bad item. The cups on the bottom have more detailed and more accurate places to land. You can see the circles here. They're a little bit small, a little more accurate. So if you have items that are not filled up, they tend to be more accurate. Now, again, you still have gaps. They're still moving. It's not as accurate as the Sortimo box. As it is the stack-on, this unit loses space because of the handle here, and the handle is not in any way, it's not any kind of cushioned handle or anything like that. On the bottom, you have this, reversed and positive and negative thing here. The molding is really weird. The actual case here says polypropylene on the back. I don't see an indication. Oh, we have polycarbonate. Actually, we have polycarbonate for the top. And the top is actually a little stiffer, but not a huge amount than the stack-on. So, a good unit. Now, another thing you're going to notice, there's labels on these. Take these labels seriously. Some of these labels are hard to get off. The Stanley one, actually not hard to pull off. You can see that it's pulling off without leaving anything on the base. If you get some that have the stickers, they don't pull off. They leave all the adhesive on them. Stack-on does not put stickers on theirs. All right, the next one is another Stanley unit, and this is sort of the same arrangement as the stack-on, where you have pre-molded cases. Here you have center dividers here, and they're all fixed. You cannot change the order or the way it's arranged. So you got these center inner dividers, and then around the outside you have these, and it's again the same sort of arrangement as the stack-on. What you do, you take this, and you can take these and slide them into the little slots. I guess everybody's copying everybody. And then it will divide it up. Now this one also has the pieces right here at the top to keep everything in alignment once you've got the window closed. But you'll notice here that it's got a clasp in the middle. There's a good reason for that. This thing is wonky. It is not strong at all. It's polypropylene, a very soft metal or soft plastic. And what they had to do is because they cheaped out on the plastic, they had to put this additional clip in here that keeps the center clipped into the base. So if they just used better plastic, it wouldn't need to do that. Now, this also does not have hinged hinges. It uses a living hinge, so all that is just plastic. It's basically Tupperware, right? You just pop that on there. Doesn't inspire the most confidence. It's not real, perfectly attached. It's fairly deep. There's no weird stuff on the back here, but probably not my favorite. I wouldn't want to put a lot of small items in that. All right. So, that was Stanley Sort Master. Now next here we have Storehouse, and this Storehouse comes from Harbor Freight. And Harbor Freight, of course, obviously super insanely cheap stuff. It's a very similar design, actually, to the stack-on. What we have here is it's a little bit deeper. So we have the top here, and the top is polypropylene. It's a little bit thicker than the other one on the Sort Master I just showed you, but still pretty chintzy. The upside is that these divots here in the unit that hold the, or I shouldn't say divots, the little corner braces that hold the cups in place, if you remove them, they are a bit more substantial. So given the fact that it's, you attach it down, they're more likely to hold it in place. Now you'll notice that they're not also real accurate. They're real wide. And the reason they're real wide is because these cups are molded like dog crap. So the cups, you can see the bows in them. I mean, they're not well done. They're kind of chintzy. They're just, you don't go, wow, that's some nice stuff. You go, wow, that was worth $6, $7, $8. All right. They also do feature the same sort of things as the Stanley units with these little tiny feet and the circles. There's a whole lot of copying going on here. People are clearly not coming up with their own ideas here. So what I'm going to do is going to remove some of those cups, and you can see here I can shut the lid. Oh, see that? See it moving around? Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. And why? Because this whole thing, yeah, probably just okay if you've got no other items in there. I mean, if you've got none of the cups removed, like let's say you take out the center section and you want to put a tool in there, yeah, probably not so much. It's hard to beat the price on that. The price was $7.99. $7.99. All right, so $7.99. Now, I'm just looking at my receipt here, and this one's showing $29.99, but I'm pretty sure I shouldn't have paid that much for it. I don't believe it should have been that much. I think I may need to call Harbor Freight to figure out what's going on there. So, same sort of deal, almost the exact same design. You can see the top up here. It's got the little X's in it. These bins are much larger. They're much more substantial in depth, but they suffer from the same kind of chintzy Harbor Freight molding that you had before. They do have live hinges. I mean, non-live hinges. They have hinges. They're just attached into the plastic. Nothing special. No metal pins or anything. When you lean them back, they go back a little over 90 degrees, probably 110, 115 degrees. The top is real wonky. Yeah. Oh, look at that. You can go all the way. You can go almost 180 degrees back. So maybe that's a plus. You got the molded handle in here, so you're losing some space. On the back, same sort of deal. And they, unfortunately, copied the same stupid idea as the others. You can see here, you got the little feet that protrude down there. All right. This is the Sortimo box. Now, the Sortimo box is a very high-quality unit, and as it should be. This thing is $50 outside of the U.S., about $80 inside the U.S. These are designed normally for tradespeople. They fit in a cargo van kind of arrangement. They have a whole racking system for them. It's part of a larger system, probably not really designed for the regular Joe at home in his garage organizing a few screws. This is just for people who are really serious about doing their job every single day. And it just shows the level of quality that's in here. Now, what you have here is you have different bins, and the bins are of all different varieties, and they, of course, can be configured in all kinds of different ways. You can buy this unit, like I have here, with a bunch of random-sized units. You can also buy it with a lot of the same. For example, if you want one with a bunch of yellow and blue, they sell them with yellow and blue, so you can have a particular type. So you'd be looking at the type of items you were doing or using, and then you would purchase a storage system that was appropriate to that type of device. Now, the cups themselves are very well molded. They're not chintzy. They are polystyrene. They got the little divots on the back, and they are nice and clean. I mean, they're a little bit sharper on the edges, but nothing, that's bad. They fit very accurately. So when you close this lid, they do not come down. So if you have some sort of tool in here on the side, you don't have to worry about stuff popping out of these or these moving out of place. The overall design is fairly good. It has a hinge up here on the polycarbonate case, and this polycarbonate case is strong enough. There's not a doubt in my mind you could stand on this. You could stack several of them and stand on them. It's very rigid, hard plastic, and not so hard that I think it would break. And it's got a lot of internal ribbing. Now, seeing through it is a little bit tough. It's slightly not clear at the bottom and the tops, but it has this ridging, which makes it hard. I also suspect that ridging is there for structural reasons. The hinge is a hinge based on the polycarbonate. It's not a metal hinge, but it makes a nice, clean, you've got it locked down. And I don't believe for a second that I'd worry, it really popping open even if I had just one hinge. On the back side, we have double hinges on the sides, on each side. You'll also see that it can stand up because it has the edges here on there. And then on the bottom, you have a nice flat bottom with some ridging. This has to do with their storage system. And on the handle has a nice little soft grip area. It's actually got a different kind of plastic that would keep you from dropping it if you had wet hands or something like that. And it is also just slightly larger. The size here is about 17 3/4 by 14 1/2 by 3 inches. But most importantly, you're not losing this whole chunk right here in the middle due to the handle. So if you've got cash or you want to invest in something that's long term, go with Sortimo. You'll probably have to import them to get them cheap enough. It'll probably be complicated. Now, if you are super chintzy, you want the most storage for the least amount of money, just buy this Harbor Freight junk. It's absolutely perfect for just putting regular junk in. If you've got to do this stuff for a living, never touch this stuff. Put that away in your garage, play with it. This thing right here, the Sort Master, junk. Don't buy it. Here, this professional Stanley organizer, pretty good. Not bad. I can see why they have very good reviews, and they seem to sell a lot of those. And the stack-on units, I think both of the stack-on units are definitely a solid top of the top. I could almost see using this as a professional item. They seem that good of a quality. It's not Sortimo, but at least it's not, this Stanley Sort Master, which just says I'm cheap. So that's my review of portable storage containers. Hopefully this has been helpful.